Okay, let's talk about picking an opportunity. Now, I've heard from a lot of you, and a lot of you were like, wow, I'm finding so many different opportunities, so many things I think I can do, so many things I want to go and do to try to make money and build a business out of, but I don't really know which one to pick. Well, what if you evaluate multiple opportunities and they all score about the same? In other words, what if you take it through our process? You take it through the opportunity factor formula, you apply the things that the questions you answered in the 43-point survey, the things that you answered from the speed and cost analysis, and then you score the opportunities with the math, and they come out to be very similar, not exact, but in the same ballpark. So what happens, when that happens? Which one do you go with? Well, I'd consider the opportunity, first of all, that has the most expansion possibilities. And the easiest way to think of this is to think of what type of market or type of business can you sell more things to that same group of people, to that same customer, right? We've been talking about the dog training one as an example because we use that to, look it up as an example for analytics and the data and all that. And we've been just talking about dog training in general, but I don't see dog training as one that has good expansion possibilities, for example. You could sell a product to train a dog, and there's certainly a big market for that, and that's why there's some people making decent money, even though that market's very saturated. But beyond that, once the dog is trained, well, then what do you sell them? Well, okay, you could sell them training on how to do advanced dog tricks or something like that. Okay, then they learn that, and maybe you could do pet insurance or pet supplements, maybe. I've seen people try that, although I haven't seen anyone really succeed heavily with that. But outside of that, what else do you sell them? Something on how to help and track your pet's health. It's just, there's not a lot of expansion opportunities, at least compared to some other businesses. Like you look at the supplement business, you can do all kinds of weight loss supplements. You can all types of vitamins, all types of natural herbs, all types of things that cure or help with different ailments, different types of pain, memory loss, lack of energy, depression, whatever it may be. And that's why several people in the supplement business are doing several $1,000,000 a month, because there's a lot to be sold, not only to a lot of people, but a lot of things to be sold to the same person, where one person will buy lots of stuff. So if all else fails and you're considering a lot of different opportunities, really think about the exact customer that you're going to want to target that will buy the thing that you're going to build. And think about long term, what else could you sell them? Are there a lot of other things that you could easily build to sell them? Other software products, other SaaS types of services, other information products, other physical products. But think about that. What else would they be likely to buy? And that's one of the criteria you can use to help you make a decision on which opportunity to go with, which one has the most expansion possibilities. You can also consider the opportunity that you're actually passionate about. I make fun of saying, people say if you want to make money online, just build a business you're passionate about. Go after your passions. Well, that's not always the case. I'm the opposite, where I'm like, don't think about your passions first. Think about where the money is. Sell what's already selling. Market what's already being marketed. Those are the core principles and our foundation of this whole Spy for Profit process. Find out what's already selling and then just get into the action as well and get some of that money too. Don't try to be an inventor. Don't try to be the one to blaze new ground. Don't try to be the one to get to a market first. It's so much easier, so many less headaches, so much less risk by simply us looking and using these tools we've been covering to go where the money already is and getting involved. But if we do all of that and we find some opportunities that are very similar in kind of how we're evaluating them, and there is one that you happen to be very passionate about, or you already know something about that market, well, then I would go into that business, because making money isn't what business is all about. You want to have fun as well. So what good is going into something that you're going to hate dealing with? So if you do have a passion or interest, or you're excited about it in some way, that's probably the direction you need to go in, I think, because you'll perform better. You'll probably put in more hours. You'll be more productive. You'll work harder to grow that business because you'll enjoy it. So there is that to consider, but only if it's an opportunity that we've proven that's already selling and that's already a market for, and other people are already proving the money is there. That's critical. Don't just pick the one that you're passionate about that you can't find data on that's already selling. We still have to kind of follow along with all this, the science and the math about what we've been covering. Also considering going with an opportunity that others would want to acquire. So if you built a certain type of business, is it a business that many others would think about buying from you? Think of the end game. Who would buy it from you? If you built a little pet training thing, would Petco or PetSmart buy it? Probably not. But if you built like your own supplement brand and you really built that up, are there other companies in that market that may want to acquire you and add what you've built to their mix? Very likely. If you create something for the weight loss market, which is like a SaaS software for tracking people's progress, and you're doing it in a very unique way, and people really love it, and they're sharing it on social media, and lots of people are using it, and their families are running contests with it to compete for their health, whatever it may be. But that's something that there would be a lot of people, a lot of different companies that would potentially acquire that. People that create supplements and weight loss products, also people that create exercise equipment, people that do diet stuff, or certain types of food manufacturers for a healthy market. Lots of possibilities there. So think about that. Think of the end game. Think about potentially selling something that you build for millions of dollars, but who may be the person that would write you the check for it? Because this is exactly how startup entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley think. Many of them only build stuff that they know Google or Apple or Microsoft or Amazon or one of the bigger companies would possibly be likely to buy. Because a lot of times they build things that don't even ever end up making a bunch of money, but they get a big user base, they get some popularity, and the larger companies can turn that into money by leveraging the user base with their own products. But you should think of that. Think of the end game first. And last but not least, consider the opportunity that seems to have the most longevity. There is something to be said for finding hot trends and finding things that are, up and coming, that seem to be great opportunities that people are buying, whatever that fad or trend may be. But there's also, there's definitely money to be made there. I'm not saying you shouldn't go after trends and fads, but also consider, what business is going to be around long term, what market is going to be stable long term, because the more effort you put into building the business, the more you grow it. If you end up hiring some people to work on it with you, if you really get it cranking, you do want something that's going to last, hopefully, and produce income for you month after month after month. And by the way, the ones that have the most longevity are also the ones that will sell for the most money, because businesses buying a hot trend or fad, they know that it's kind of a short cycle and it's probably not going to last. So you want to build a profitable cash cow that will hopefully last for many, many years to come. So those are just some considerations to think about when you're going to actually make a decision on picking an opportunity, if you found several that kind of rank the same and score the same. So these are some additional criteria you can use to hopefully help you make that final decision.